Let's talk LA Lakers here in this video. Let's take a look at their record. Let's take a look at how they're performing. I know a lot of buzz about the Beach Boys and the team. Luca, AR-15, LeBron, right? A little bit of health, issues. You got players missing games, but a lot of people are excited to see that the Lakers off to a good start so far this year. Oh, it's really not all that impressive. I mean, if you look at the record, 19-9 is good. It's good enough for fourth place in the Western Conference. In my opinion, I don't think the Lakers are better than the Thunder, the Spurs, or the Nuggets. I think that's definitive. I don't really think they're better than the Timberwolves or the Rockets either. And I think you can make an argument that maybe they're in that same tier with like the Suns and the Warriors, actually, which sounds crazy because those are like middle of the road teams. Those are like 500 teams, right? But I mean, if you look at holistically and then individually at the games, you have 2 wins against the Pelicans, you have 3 wins against the Utah Jazz, and then you have easy wins against Sacramento, Charlotte, and Milwaukee. And those are bad teams that account for what, like almost half of your wins, right? Just those handful of teams. And then you've got some really unusual losses, like a recent loss to the Clippers, who are like arguably one of the worst teams in the league. You have a loss to the Blazers. You lost to the Warriors, who are like just at 500 or below 500. And really the best wins, it's probably like the Minnesota wins, right? Because Minnesota is like a team that's basically on their level. So you want to kind of show that you're better. But they're 1-1 against the Spurs. They're 1-2 against the Suns. And they lost to the OKC Thunder. I'm just not seeing a convincing team. Like, you're not looking at the Lakers to really be that impactful this year. They're not showing anything profound. They're 12-3 versus teams that are sub 500. And I think they're 7-6 against teams that are above 500. And, losing to the Thunder, I mean, a lot of teams lose to the Thunder. A lot of teams are losing to the Spurs. I'm not saying you can't lose to good teams, but you've lost to bad teams. And I'm not even talking about like just losing to the bad teams. How about losing by double digits to bad teams? Right? Losing to the Portland Trailblazers 122-108. Or losing to the Atlanta Hawks by 20 points back in November. Or losing to the Thunder being uncompetitive. Or, losing by double digits to the Suns on multiple occasions by 20 plus, right? All I'm saying is this. If you think the Lakers are for real, like you think AR-15, Luka Doncic, LeBron, the supporting cast, JJ Redick, you think that they're going to make noise this year based on how they played so far? Absolutely not. This is a middling team. And, there's nothing wrong with being honest and truthful. It's not about being a hater. Everybody, if you don't agree with someone's take, they just call you a hater. But my analysis or my commentary in this video is shrouded in logic and reasoning. They're not highly ranked in a defensive rating. They're one of the worst defensive teams. And with certain lineups, it's atrocious. Like when these 3 guys are on the floor, you have 3 guys that are below average defenders. Luka's trying to play defense this year. The effort is there. He's just not great at it. AR-15, I see him try to play defense sometimes. He's just not good at it. And then LeBron, we know that LeBron in this stage of his career doesn't move well laterally. Well, not like he used to. His effort is always, suspect, on the defensive side of the ball. They're just not good defensively. They don't get the stops consistently. Look at these point totals. Look at what they're giving up in some of these games. You've got games where you're giving up 130, 140, 133. There's just a lot of games where they're giving up a lot of points. Even the win against Utah on December 18th, they gave up 135 points. And then there's, without the guys when they're injured, you're talking about an aged player like LeBron who missed the first part of the year, Luka, who's missed some games, AR-15 missed some games. Where those guys miss, there's games where they can't score 100 points. In an NBA where typically you're seeing teams score 120 or more every night. So this is a very, very flawed roster. This is a very, very flawed team that has a lot of redundant roles. LeBron, Luka, and AR-15 all do the same thing, which is score independently. It's not even really within a system. Luka can create for guys, so can AR-15, and so can LeBron, but they don't play off of each other. They operate independently of each other. And then defensively, the three of them don't play good defense. So if they're all on the same floor at the same time, what are you actually getting, right? There's no value in that. You know, discussions about a trade and stuff for AR-15, I get all of that and whatever ends up happening. I just don't understand how anybody's going to look at the Lakers and say, man, I can't wait to see this team make a deep playoff run. Like, no. The Spurs would kick their ass. The Thunder would kick their ass. The Nuggets would kick their ass. The Timberwolves would run them off the floor again, probably. I don't know. Maybe it would be more competitive than last year, but I still would take the Timberwolves. I think Anthony Edwards has really proven me wrong. He has really improved his game. I'm thrilled about what's going on there, but in the Rockets, like the Rockets are going to kick their ass too. And who knows? Maybe the Suns would upset them in a matchup in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't get your hopes up if you're a Lakers fan. I think you got to be realistic. Maybe something changes between now and the trade deadline. Maybe something happens. There's an epiphany over in LA. They all decide they're going to start playing really good defense. I just don't see it. I think you'd be praying, wishing upon a star like a fairy tale, like the pixie dust from the Tooth Fairy can bring you defense. I don't know, but this is the 19-9 record is kind of fool's gold.